Hey, have you ever wondered what it actually costs to be the face of the most famous family in the world? Imagine this. You're handed the keys to the most prestigious, deeply entrenched brand in global history.
Right, with infinite resources and universal name recognition.
Exactly. But there is a massive catch. To keep the keys, you are absolutely forbidden from speaking your mind, sharing any personal struggles, or making a single dime for yourself.
I mean, it sounds like some sort of intense psychological experiment, doesn't it?
It really does. Stick around till the end because what I'm about to share will completely change how you think about the British royal family.
Yeah, the value of their brand is directly tied to, well, their restraint. The less they reveal, the more powerful they remain.
So don't go anywhere, you're about to discover something awesome. But first, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe because we've got tons of fun coming your way. Let's dive right in.
Sounds good, let's do it.
So today's deep dive is all about this central tension tearing at the monarchy right now. We're pulling insights from the royal talk show Palace Confidential, and it's basically a masterclass in PR and crisis management.
Oh, absolutely. Whether you follow the royals or not, this is a real-time case study in what happens when deeply personal family drama just collides with international business.
And constitutional politics. Let's start with the baseline, the actual straitjacket of being a working royal. King Charles and Queen Camilla have this upcoming state visit to the U.S., right?
Yeah, Washington, New York, and Virginia.
And the sources say the schedule is just meticulously controlled, like security advised against any traditional public walkabouts, no spontaneous handshaking.
Which makes sense. I mean, that choreography is a protective measure. When you're a constitutional head of state, spontaneity is basically a liability.
Right.
The U.S. and the U.K. just operate on fundamentally different paradigms for leadership. The U.S. president is a politician with a partisan agenda, but the British monarch is inherently apolitical.
They have to be the unifying figure.
It's exactly above the fray.
Which creates a really fascinating dilemma because King Charles is scheduled to have a private meeting with Donald Trump during this trip.
Oh, yeah, that's the tricky part.
Like, as a neutral observer, you have a U.S. politician known for being, incredibly outspoken, sitting behind closed doors with a monarch who is legally forbidden from expressing a single political opinion. How does he even navigate that without causing an international incident?
Well, it requires deploying deliberate, practiced mundanity. The goal isn't to solve geopolitical crises, it's just to maintain diplomatic equilibrium.
Just keep the peace.
Right. And the sources actually bring up a historical precedent with the late Queen Elizabeth and Trump. He reportedly tried to draw her into political gossip once, asking if Winston Churchill was her favorite prime minister.
Oh, wow. Trying to get her to rank them.
Essentially, yeah, prodding her to critique her political leaders.
And I'm guessing she gave him absolutely nothing to work with.
Nothing. She utilized the art of diplomatic deflection perfectly. She reportedly just replied that they had all been very nice in their own ways.
That is hilarious. A masterclass in pleasant evasion.
You talk about the weather, you discuss architecture, you just never enter the substance of the politics.
But, the requirement for silence goes way beyond just polite diplomacy. It's a vital legal shield. Which brings us to this glaring absence on the U.S. trip schedule.
The Epstein survivors.
Exactly. Queen Camilla does all this extensive charitable work with survivors of domestic and sexual abuse. Yet, she is explicitly avoiding any meetings with Epstein survivors during the New York leg of the trip.
Yeah, and the palace is operating under extreme caution here. There is an active, ongoing UK police investigation involving the king's brother, Prince Andrew.
Right, so even just a supportive meeting could be an issue.
Exactly. Meeting with victims associated with that specific network introduces unacceptable legal risk.
I really want to break down the mechanics of that risk, because the sources reference the collapse of the Paul Burrell court case.
Oh, the terrifying precedent.
Yeah. Years ago, Queen Elizabeth made this brief, seemingly innocent comment about a live court case involving her former butler. And simply because she spoke, the entire prosecution fell apart. How does one comment derail a whole trial?
Well, it comes down to the constitutional structure of the UK. Prosecutions are handled by the Crown Prosecution Service. The monarch is literally considered the fount of justice.
Oh, I see.
So if the monarch makes a statement implying a stance on a trial, it legally prejudices the process. A jury can't be impartial if the embodiment of the state has already weighed in.
Wow. By speaking, she inadvertently destroyed the prosecution's standing.
Exactly. The silence isn't just a PR strategy, it's a structural necessity to keep the government and legal system functioning.
So Camilla can't meet with those survivors because a single misplaced sentence to the press could theoretically compromise legal proceedings back in London.
You're in a geopolitical straitjacket, at the center of global events, but structurally muzzled.
Which makes the contrast with what's happening in Australia right now so jarring.
Oh, absolutely. Night and day.
We're seeing this real-time experiment in what happens when you take the straitjacket off. Harry and Meghan are in Australia on what critics in the sources call a pseudo-royal tour.
Yeah, visually, it's basically indistinguishable from traditional royal duty. Laying wreaths, visiting the Royal Children's Hospital.
And that visual mimicry strikes at the heart of the 2020 Sandringham Summit, right?
Yes, when they stepped back, they initially wanted a half-in, half-out model. They wanted to do royal duties while also pursuing private commercial income, and the late Queen firmly rejected that.
I gotta play devil's advocate for a second. They're cut off from royal funds, they have massive security bills. Why shouldn't they leverage their global platform to make a living? What's the actual danger if they do both?
The danger is brand dilution. The prestige of the monarchy relies entirely on the perception of selfless public service.
Right, it has to look entirely altruistic.
Exactly. When a royal visits a hospital, the public needs to believe the sole purpose is to highlight the hospital. The moment you introduce private profit, the interaction becomes suspect. Are you there to comfort the sick or to gather marketing material?
Wow. And the sources provide a staggering example of that exact conflict. Meghan is an investor in this new AI-powered fashion affiliate program, and within 24 hours of landing in Australia, it launched via People magazine.
The timing is incredible.
Fans can click on photos of Meghan and buy the exact item she's wearing, and she earns a reported 10 to 20% commission. But the kicker is, they used photos from her visit to the Royal Children's Hospital to sell the clothes.
A hospital originally opened by Queen Elizabeth, mind you.
Yes, to sell clothes she wore to the pediatric ward.
And that is the exact mechanical breakdown of the brand the late Queen feared, taking the sacred visual language of a hospital visit and converting it into a direct retail funnel.
It's like using a diplomatic passport to run a pop-up shop.
That's a perfect analogy. Critics argue it treats a Commonwealth visit as a commercial lookbook, which fundamentally undermines the prestige that makes the imagery valuable in the first place.
And hey, make sure to comment below your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. And trust me, you don't want to miss the exciting part at the end of the video. It's a total game changer. Stay tuned, and let's make this journey unforgettable together.
There's definitely more to unpack here.
Yeah, because the commercialization doesn't stop at clothing. The sources talk about them monetizing deeply personal trauma. Harry spoke at a Movember event in Melbourne, and it was so inward-focused.
Oh, therapy speak.
Right, talking about needing to cleanse himself of the past, feeling disconnected from his son Archie during pregnancy, and wanting to be an upgrade on his parents' child rearing.
It's a really fascinating shift in his brand positioning. Years ago, he ran the Heads Together campaign with William and Kate, and it was universally praised because it was purely outward focused.
Right, trying to help society destigmatize mental health.
Exactly, but critics in the sources label this new discourse as psychobabble because it's linked to a commercial enterprise. He has a paid corporate position as the Chief Impact Officer for BetterUp, an online therapy company.
So when you attach a corporate gig to your personal struggles, your trauma essentially becomes your unique selling point.
It shifts from a public service announcement to corporate brand building. And PR professionals really question whether doing that continuously dilutes the authenticity of the message.
It feels like it would. And Meghan is doing something similar, leveraging the personal for exclusivity. She's a special guest at a luxury women's wellness retreat in Sydney.
The one with the crazy application process.
Yes. Tickets are like $2,500 to $3,000, but they're struggling to sell out. And you can't just buy a ticket. You have to provide your age, write a personal essay on why you deserve to attend, and input a secret code word.
A code word that you only get if you subscribe to a specific podcast.
It's so convoluted.
Well, they're trying to manufacture artificial scarcity. In luxury branding, introducing friction making the customer prove they're worthy is a tactic to elevate perceived value.
But when you mandate essays and paywalls while struggling to fill the venue,
It backfires completely. It exposes the exclusivity as an artificial construct rather than genuine demand. You're trying to maintain the velvet rope of royal exclusivity without the institutional gravity to hold it up.
and losing that institutional gravity leaves you completely legally exposed. Which brings us to this massive legal bombshell in the sources.
Oh, the defamation lawsuit.
Prince Harry and his former royal equerry Mark Dyer are being sued for defamation in the London High Court. And the plaintiff is what makes it unprecedented. Yes. The charity Harry himself co-founded to honor Princess Diana. I read that and had to reread it. How is it mechanically possible for a charity to use its own funds to sue its royal founder?
I know, it sounds insane. The charity alleges an aggressive media campaign by Harry's camp caused catastrophic damage. Harry and Mark Dyer categorically deny it, of course.
But it seems like mutual destruction.
To understand it, you have to look at charity board governance outside the palace machinery. The board has a strict fiduciary duty to protect the charity. Their legal loyalty is to the organization, not the patron.
So if they think the patron is harming them, they have to act.
Precisely. If Harry were still a working royal, the palace's PR and legal apparatus would have mediated this behind closed doors. The institution acts as a shock absorber.
But once you step outside that bubble, the shock absorber is gone. No palace fixers, just the standard legal system in a highly public high court battle. You lose the shield.
And we're seeing another stark example of life without that shield back in the UK with Prince Andrew.
Right, the sources gave an update on his situation. He's still heavily isolated in Norfolk.
There are rumors Prince Edward went there to evict him.
Yeah, but the sources clarify it was just a pastoral visit. Edward was genuinely checking in on his mental well-being because the public isolation is just profound.
The public sentiment is entirely devoid of sympathy. The sources noted some people won't be satisfied until Andrew is on state welfare.
It really illustrates the sheer brutality of falling out of royal grace. Inside, you're insulated. Outside, the temperature drops below zero fast, which makes you wonder, how has the core brand survived for centuries?
Well, the answer lies in the exact opposite of everything we just talked about.
Queen Elizabeth II.
Exactly. She is the antithesis of this modern impulse to share and monetize in public. And there's a monumental historical effort underway right now to codify her methodology.
King Charles appointed Professor Anna Key, who is freely respected, to write the authorized biography of the late Queen. And the access she's getting is unprecedented.
She's getting the keys to the royal archives in the Round Tower at Windsor. Decades of private diaries, personal correspondence, even letters with Princess Diana.
It's the ultimate historical treasure trove. But it's a massive challenge, because the Queen was globally revered specifically because she never revealed her internal life. 70 years without an on-the-record personal opinion.
Right, but her silence wasn't a lack of personality. It was an active strategic mechanism. Her public persona wasn't a blank slate, it was a mirror.
The sources mention that. Because she offered no political opinions, citizens just saw their own reflections bouncing back.
Exactly. Some people thought she was a secret socialist, others were convinced she was deeply conservative. She managed to be whatever the public needed.
Fostering universal connection by eliminating friction. But if Professor Key gets these diaries, what happens if the archives shatter the mirror?
That is the danger.
We know Prince Philip's letters were incredibly punchy and opinionated. If the Queen's diaries reveal she was secretly venting every night, criticizing prime ministers, it changes everything we know about her reign.
Or if they're just a mundane ledger of what she ate for breakfast, the biographer has a really dry narrative to weave.
The tension is whether exposing the human reality destroys the institutional magic. She understood that mystery was the source of power.
Withholding information was her greatest asset.
Which brings this whole deep dive full circle. It's a relentless tug of war. On one side, the silent duty of traditional monarchy Charles in the diplomatic straitjacket. The Queen as a silent mirror.
And on the other side, the loud, commercialized reality of modern ex-royals. Charity suing founders, hospital visits fueling retail affiliate links, therapy as marketing material.
It's a profound shift. And it leaves you with a critical final thought to mull over. If the survival of the British monarchy relied entirely on absolute silence and mystery, What happens to that institution in an era where everyone feels this overwhelming compulsion to share their truth and monetize their personal brand? Can a crown built on mystery survive the modern age of endless content?
It really is the defining question for the next generation of the monarchy.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the mechanics behind the monarchy. Keep questioning the narratives behind the news. Keep looking for those hidden mechanisms. Don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends who'd love this too. We will catch you on the next one.